Hi, this is Scott from SEAT-CUPRA-NET. I'm here with the CUPRA Leon VZ2. This is the UK spec model. 300 brake horse, 0 to 60 in 5.7 seconds, although it feels faster than that. I'm just going to quick tour of the outside of the car. So this is in a colour called Desire Red, which we were told a few years ago that SEAT spent a good few years developing, I think from memory around 3 years. The designer really wanted a nice red colour that wouldn't fade in the sun, because red cars of old were known for that, and they achieved it with this car. It's really nice, really striking colour in the flesh, and yeah, we like the colour. You've got silver accents on the mirrors and also other parts of the bodywork. When CUPRA introduced its own brand, they dropped the gloss black elements that you used to see on CUPRA models when it was under SEAT, so silver is now the colour. The wheels down here, they're 19-inch wheels. These are the VZ2 wheels, as I've said. The VZ3 wheels, so the higher spec car, comes with the aerodynamic wheels with plastic bits on them, which I personally think look pretty awful. So if you want the higher spec car, you have to have the wheels that don't look as good. Equally frustrating, elsewhere in Europe, you can get really nice multi-spoke wheels with copper accents and Brembo brakes, neither of which you can currently get in the UK, which is quite frustrating, considering we are CUPRA's second biggest market. If we move around to the front, you've got quite an aggressive front here. These lines come down the bonnet, down here, and there's some indentation along here. You've got the silver grey accent colour again, CUPRA badge, all the sensors at the front, this lower lip, and this sweeping wave here from the accent colour again. We pointed out in our review of the CUPRA Leon the first time we did it, that the SEAT Leon version has an edge to this front bumper, which I personally think again looks more aggressive than having it flat on the CUPRA. So it seems some of the elements CUPRA have kind of got muddled the wrong way round with the SEAT versions of the car. If we move round to this side, you've got the full LED lights. You've got this kind of hexagonal pattern here, which is also on the digital dash when you start out the car. If we move down to the side, another bit you cannot get in the UK that you can get in Europe is a nice side skirt. We thought that was going to be standard when the car was first revealed, but sadly not in the UK. Decided to not let us have all the fun toys again for some reason. This line comes all the way here to the back and follows all the way round. There's another dip that runs up here, and if we come to the back, this is probably my favourite part of the car, is the rear. The spoiler here is quite big if you look at it from the side, certainly. Again, in Europe there's an extendable bit of spoiler you can get in carbon fibre, which you cannot get in the UK. Certainly from SEAT Direct you may be able to source it yourselves and fit it afterwards. Sweeping roof line that comes down to the full LED light that SEAT call coast to coast. The brake light is central here, but at night the whole strip lights up, and you've probably seen our videos where the whole thing has this kind of Knight Rider style effect when you start it up. The CUPRA logo is the badge as well for opening the boot. CUPRA lettering in gloss black. We've lost what on the previous generation all of this was like a black plastic. It's now in body colour with this area here. Now if you come in closer and have a look at the exhaust, CUPRA decided to add a quad exhaust to the hatch. It wasn't originally going to be quad, it was going to be 2 single pipes, but actually these are fake. So this whole unit, we think if that was taken off, the exhaust tips would come with it. They're not real exhaust tips, the real exhaust is hidden behind. We do have this diffuser which looks quite nice. Again, I think that would have looked better in gloss black, but as I've said, gloss black isn't a thing really anymore on CUPRA cars. The ST that we've seen doesn't have this diffuser. It's got like a basic SEAT Leon kind of blocked out area, which we'll share some pictures on the site. Again, a shame. I think that the hatch looks more aggressive from the rear than the Estate. So if we look inside, the door first, the trim is really nice quality. You've got this plastic here, and you've got the LED strip going that tells you when cars are passing, changes colour, goes amber. Door bin is a good size. CUPRA door sill lights up. CUPRA matte. This is a DSG, obviously. We've got the crappy plasticky light controls. The seats are really, really comfortable. That's one of my favourite bits of the car. If we get into the driver's seat, no steering wheel buttons on this. The only way you can get the steering wheel buttons, the start and CUPRA button, is on the Estate. The now familiar touch control, which I won't go into because we've covered that in other videos. You've got the shape here that fits the key perfectly, which I haven't got with me right now, it's over the other side. Tiny stubby gear selector, start and stop button, controls here, space for stuff here. I've got a 12-volt charger in the storage under the armrest. Yep, nice quality materials here. See the light's gone blue, don't know if you can see that on the video there. You can change the colour. And the glove box is a reasonable size. And there is a light in the glove box as well. A little cubby there, no idea what you'd want to put in there. But they've given you a little space there. There is no storage under the seats, which is a little bit frustrating. There's not even any storage here, so there's actually some less storage on this car than the previous generation that had a few more little cubby holes. LED lights, SOS button. Don't know what that is. Oh, this is the light control. Yeah, if you look at the back, reasonably good size. I think the legroom is a little bit bigger than the Mark III. So I'll just sit in the back. Got individual controls for the climate in the back, 2 USB-C charging points. I do like these lights, they're touch sensitive LED lights, which is quite cool. And a few people have asked about rear visibility. So I'm 5'10". This is at my head height now. The bucket seats do get in the way a little bit of the visibility, as you would expect. You can look through there if you want to, but you'll be seeing the back of the driver's head. You've got top tether down here. And as I said, you can pull this down. I think they call this a ski hatch. The idea being you can put, I can't open it for some reason. You can put skis through, I think that's how it got its name. Back seats are quite comfortable. They lean back, quite nice. Dark headlining. Yeah, that's about all there is to say for the interior. Before we go for a drive, I'm just going to run through some of the specifications with you whilst I've got my crib sheet here. So the recommended retail price is £35,125. This car that we're driving today is £36,155. That's because the paint is an extra £810 and there's a basic safety driving pack which is £220. Now if you want to have the lane assist warning when you are looking to pull out on a motorway lane or cars are passing, where you get the yellow amber strip lighting up on the side, that will cost you £625 over the basic driving pack that we've got. There's also another pack on top of that, which I'll put details of in the review, or you can find the brochures for all the models on our website under the resources section. In terms of performance, 0 to 62 in 5.7 seconds, although CUPRA, SEAT and other manufacturers tend to be quite conservative on those estimates. I know the car has been tested faster than that. I don't have testing equipment here to do that, but take my word for it, it's going to be faster than 5.7 seconds. Power-wise, 300 brake horsepower and 400 Newton meters of torque, with a top speed, where legal to do so, of 155 miles per hour. The car comes with adaptive chassis as standard. We saw that introduced on the Mark III Leon CUPRA, nearly said it the wrong way around then, and also came with and this comes with a limited slip differential as standard as well. In terms of difference physically to the last generation, the car is 50 millimeters longer than the Mark III was, which CUPRA say just helps a bit more with handling. Yeah. VZ3 over VZ2. So what do you get extra with the VZ3? You get full leather seats, full leather bucket seats. These seats are pleather, so that fake leather, and cloth. Personally, I'd prefer this over full leather. It's just, you know, a bit more comfortable than, you know, the whole leather seats being too hot and too cold. On the VZ3, you also get the wheels that are like Marmite. A lot of people hate them, me included. I think they're really ugly. They were the aero wheels we thought were going to be on the hybrid models, but for whatever reason, Cupra decided to put them onto the top spec CUPRA Leon, certainly in the UK. You also get wireless phone charging on the VZ3, which you don't get here. The seats are also heated, and the steering wheel as well. And finally, on the VZ3, you get the electric seat controls with the memory function, certainly for the driver's seat. But you've got to pay extra for that if you want that on the VZ3. Personally, I think the VZ2 is the sweet spot. You get the better looking wheels for a start, and you know, it's pretty well spec'd for the price, considering prices of everything have gone up. Okay, so shall we go for a drive? Let's do it. Is an CUPRA 1.8 turbo, but before that I had a SEAT Leon CUPRA-300 Mark III, and before that I had the 280 SC, the sports coupe, which is the 3-door. So I know what these cars are like to drive, certainly this chassis and this engine, and it is nice to be back in a 300 brake horse Leon. It handles. It's difficult to describe. The Ibiza is quite leery, it's quite unstable, is not the right word, a bit more raw than this car. So driving this now feels a bit more luxurious. When you're cruising, it's just more planted on the road. Even in Cupra mode, the suspension is softer than mine, and yeah, it's a great cruising car. I did quite a lot of time on the motorway the other day, and it was a lot of stop-start traffic where the adaptive cruise control came into its own. So this road is quite bumpy. I'm in Cupra mode at the moment. I probably would turn on comfort mode, especially if I've had family in the back. But because I don't have the steering wheel buttons to do that quickly and easily, I'm just not going to bother messing around with the screen to do it. It's distracting. I have to look at the screen when I'm driving, and that's dangerous. Some of these buttons just should not be consigned to the screen. Now you can get the button on the estate, but not the hatch. I don't know why Cupra have just decided to do that. That just seems illogical. It's not driver friendly, and if it's cost saving, it's not a good move. We really need to see the button as standard on the hatch. It was even marketed as being standard when we first saw the Cupra at the press launch. So come on Cupra, stick a button on the hatch. Driving wise, the car feels really good. It doesn't feel drastically different from the Mark III 300 that I owned for a good couple of years. Performance feels very similar. DSG box feels a little bit more responsive. I certainly, and I know a lot of other people, found that the gearbox on the Mark III could be a bit laggy before changing. I did hear that this was meant to have been changed for this car. It does feel a bit different, but not as dramatically as I was expecting it to be. So I still find myself putting into sport mode a bit more often if I want a more spirited drive, because there's just too much hesitation with the gearbox when I'm, you know, driving normally and I want a burst of speed. I know you've got the flappy paddle to knock down a gear, but I always forget to do that. I just forget those paddles are there. Now on this generation, the paddles are actually a bit bigger. In Still plastic. Would have been nice to have some metal paddles, and I know you can get some aftermarket extensions, but the paddles they're more visible now. I think previously on the Mark III, I recall they were a bit hidden behind the steering wheel, but yeah, you can see the paddles there, and they're, you know, easily accessible and quick and easy to change. The interior cabin does feel much higher quality than the Mark III. The seats are just really nice. I really like the seats. They're so comfortable. I did a good long motorway journey yesterday and I didn't have any aches and pains when I got up out the car. Really comfortable. Quite adjustable. This one's got the manual lever for adjusting the rake, I think they call it. But as I said, the Mark III comes with an electric seat, which you can, you know, have your presets if different people drive the car. Steering wheel feels nice and grippy. Feels exactly the same as the Mark III. I don't think that's been changed in terms of the actual shape and size. Obviously the lower half has changed. SEAT and CUPRA have decided to swap the buttons for back and forward on the media controls to the right hand side. When you're used to them on the Mark III and other SEAT cars being on the left, it takes a while to get used to. I've got that muscle memory, but I've got kind of used to it now when I want to skip tracks on the stereo. The virtual dash is nice and clear, plenty of configuration options, but it's really readable. Day or night, no problems at all there, no complaints. Other than the physical buttons that we keep having to complain about, and I know we're not alone in doing that, there's not much to complain about. Just those important buttons missing. I did take the car for a drive at night. I'll be putting that as part of the video. I forgot to say on the video, the inexcusable thing that probably grates the most about the interior is the heating controls. The touch sensitive controls is annoying in itself, but they are not backlit, so at night you just cannot see them. You have to remember where they are to adjust. So you're fumbling in the dark. I know you can use voice control or you can interact with the screen, but you just don't want to be doing that when you're driving. I don't know why they're not lit up. They look like they should be lit up as well, but they're not. Completely pitch black in the dark, which is frustrating. The wraparound lighting, I've shown that in the video. I do really like that. You don't notice it in the daytime at all, which is a surprise. I'm sure when I drove one of these before I could see the lighting in the daytime, but yeah, you can't see that at all at the moment, only at night. In terms of the software, it's been okay. It's a bit flaky. The traffic sign recognition is not very reliable at all. It keeps thinking the motorway I live nearby is 120 mph speed limit, and I've seen it fluctuate between, suddenly it's telling me to drive in the centre of the lane. It's as if it knows I'm talking about it. I don't know what I did wrong there. The car did not like my driving and shouted at me. I'm sure I was in the lane correctly. See, there's a bit of lag. That is fine. So, I want to go into comfort mode. I have to press vehicle. Function unavailable for some reason. No, it's not. No, that's not it. Press the car. See, it's just annoying. Give me a button. Driver mode you're in is indicated at the top, so you've got the CUPRA logo, or you get obviously the sport symbol and comfort, depending on what mode you're in. Not many reviews give you a night drive, so I thought I would just do a little night drive and show you what it looks like all lit up and on the road. See what the headlights are like. Got the engine light flashing. Things will go to sleep in a minute. You can see the red light going around. So let's start up the engine, see what happens. So we're ready to go. I'm going to switch camera to the GoPro now. Get the CUPRA logo at start up. Footwells have got the lighting up full. You can see the lighting coming down from the doors. And the LED light that goes all the way around the dash. And again, lighting here and lighting in the footwell. We've got the lights here. The LED lights have a ring around them so you can see them. Same, if I can flip it round, for the ones in the back there as well, if you can see those. Okay. So we're now going to take the car on some country roads at night and to see how good the lights are. You can see how bright they are. That's one thing I do miss from my Leon Cupra is the LED lights. It's literally like daylight. Gives you serious visibility. I like the red LED strip, but it is quite distracting. It does really catch your eye as you're looking out the window. I think you can dim it. I'll have a look in a bit. Let's try some acceleration in sport mode. Visibility is good. So in conclusion, would I recommend the VZ2 CUPRA Leon? Would I recommend the VZ3 or the VZ1 or something completely different? Well, this is a SEAT and CUPRA community, right? So I'm not going to recommend you go and buy a Ford Focus. However, between the models, I think the VZ2 is the sweet spot in terms of specification, appearance. Those VZ3 wheels, I just cannot deal with them. That actually would put me off buying the car, and for many people I'm sure it would as well. So VZ2 is a sweet spot. It comes with a good amount of kit. You get the same performance as you did with the Mark III. You get the I've just seen a Mark IV Leon go past me twice in both directions as I've been driving around doing this review. It's the same guy as well. Maybe he's doing a review. But yeah, I think CUPRA have evolved the car. I think they've made a few mistakes, which we've talked about. The wheels in the UK, the spec in the UK, not being able to get the side skirts, not getting the carbon fiber spoiler extension, not getting the multi-spoke wheels with the Brembos. Why CUPRA in the UK is their second biggest market. But yeah, I recommend this car. I think it's great. I think it handles well. I don't think it's a massive jump from the Mark III. I don't think anybody who's looking for a car and chose the Mark III second hand over this would be disappointed. I think we've kind of got to the point in the car's evolution where, you know, the Mark I was very popular. Mark II took it to the next level in terms of performance. Mark III then again jumped up the performance. We got the limited slip diff, we got dynamic chassis control. For me, there was a lot of excitement between each generation as I went through them, and I've had all generations. A lot less excitement for this generation for me. I haven't found myself desperately trying to find finance deals for this car. I'm quite happy with my Ibiza Cupra I'm driving at the moment. For those on a lease cycle, you know, looking to end the lease with a Mark III and then switch to a Mark IV, I don't think you'll be disappointed. And I know a number of our community have done that. So it's fine. It's just not as big a jump as we saw from the previous generations. I think the next big jump will be Mark V, which will no doubt be all electric, and hopefully up in terms of Tesla performance, assuming the VW group can work their magic, which they are rumored to be doing. So yeah, I think in summary, it's a step up for the Mark III on the whole. It's not a massive jump from what we saw between Mark II to Mark III or Mark I to Mark II. But I think we got to the point where, you know, Cupra couldn't really, you know, just isn't the right place or time technologically to make that next big leap. I think we'll have to wait for the Mark V to get there. So I hope you enjoyed this review. Please do give the video a like and be sure to subscribe. We're always uploading reviews, latest press material from Cupra and SEAT, and of course visit our website if you're not already a member at www.SEAT-CUPRA-NET. We are the original and biggest SEAT and community with over 20 years of experience and knowledge, and yeah, we'd love to see you there. Thanks for watching. Until next time.